football fools? We are back for the Week 5 recap. Man, the season almost feels like it's halfway over. We got our first week of buys coming up this week. We're just flying by. How you feeling after Week 5?
I'm feeling all right. I actually kind of like my team a lot more. Sucks that I couldn't pull this dub out against Lubasi, but it is what it is. We'll just get on a winning streak. How are you feeling about your team?
Not so great after this week, but I have a lot of injuries and shit like that. We'll talk about it when we get to my team, but I hope I know I'm going to lose this week, but I'm hoping after this week of buys that I can get back on the right track next week. And but anyway, we will get into the first game of the week here, which is you and Lubasi. Lubasi edges you out by 10 points, and wow, I mean that's a tough loss. I mean we always talk about the 100 rule. You know, if you want to expect to be in a winning category, you want to at least try and break 100. You barely missed the mark, but Lubasi edges you out here. What did you think of your team this week?
I think actually my team did really well. I mean, it just kind of gets overshadowed by Christian Kirk and Pat's 1.6 and 2.2. But if you look at my team, everyone scored double digits except those two, and then my kicker, of course. But all my good position players did pretty well. Diggs, Stevenson, Damon Harris is out for a couple weeks, so he's going to be lead back. And then Breece Hall went off on my bench. I just didn't start him because that Miami run defense was really good. But they decided not to show up for that Jets game. So, but even if I play, it was either going to be him or Ramondre. Still would have lost by 2 points, which would have been even probably more of a heartbreak if I actually did play Breece Hall. But that was my decision with Stevenson and Breece Hall, and they both did really well. So I'm not too mad about this. Mixon and Herbert could do a little bit better, but in all, this team is looking good. And then, like I said, with Harris's injury and then Breece Hall elevating his game, I think I have a really good running back core with Mixon in there. He hasn't done great, but he's, still getting a lot of carries. Just hopefully he can find some end zones here the next couple weeks. But I'm really confident in my team going into playing Johnny this week, the only 5-0 team. So I don't know. I like my team a lot. I think my record is worse than it should be. So hopefully I'll get that on track. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, kudos to Lubasi, 107, really good score. I mean, pretty good score. And yeah, just his bottom two guys really carried, or not bottom two, the defense and flex really carried this, going off of 52 points. The rest of his team, like his core team, still is struggling with Najee, James Robinson, Cortland Sutter, Pittman, and Hawkinson didn't do well. So that's going to be problematic for Lubasi, but he edges this one out, and he's 3-2. So, I mean, congrats, and we'll see how he does the rest of the year. So, but I'm not really scared too much of this team if I see him again, let's say in the playoffs, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, back-to-back weeks for Lubasi with a 30-point player and still, barely breaking that 100 mark. So, I mean, you gotta wonder, like, what if these 30-pointers stop, like, where's Lubasi's team going to be sitting at? So we'll see how he constructs that for next week. But, yeah, I mean, he gets a good win here. I think he really needed this one looking at that, just in case those 30s do go away. So sitting at 3-2 for him, not bad. But, yeah, your team looking solid. Maybe not at tight end. I think Pat got hurt that last week, but easy hole to fill, I suppose, because most of them suck anyway. So just plug a name in there and keep on rolling. But yep, good win by Lubasi here. Good bounce back after getting beat by me.
Yeah, and Pat got a concussion instead of Chris Olave. I think he in like the third quarter he got a concussion, so he didn't even play half the game. So both concussions. Hopefully, I don't want to pick up. I mean, the tight end I wanted was Taysom Hill, and he got picked up. So hopefully, Pat plays for me. But we'll see on that. So going to Chewy and Nick's team. This is actually Nick's first loss at 87 points. And I was actually texting Johnny today. We were talking about our matchup, and he said that he has the best team. He was talking shit about me. And then he said something about Rudy's team falling off, and I was like, I'm going to expect the fall off kind of to be with Nick too. I just don't think this team is too crazy. I think it's fallen off. What do you think about Nick's team in the week he had?
I mean, he definitely had a tough week here. So let's break this down a little bit to at least be a little lenient here, because Darren Waller played maybe 2 or 3 snaps, and they ruled him out the game. He's on the sidelines in a jacket. We got the Miami defense, who somehow just got torched by the fucking Jets. Like you said earlier with Breece Hall, I mean, the Dolphins defense just did not show up, -1. And then he has Damien Harris, who also gets hurt in that game. So you got 3 big positions.
He had like 4 carries.
Huh?
Damian Harris only had like 4 carries too.
Yeah, exactly. So him and Waller both like 5 snaps into the game are out, and then that bad defense. So a little bit of some sympathy for Nick here this week, but even a couple of his top guys, low scores. So I don't know. This team I think is maybe going to be a little bit inconsistent, but he's got Keenan Allen that's probably going to be coming back soon. And if Darren Waller ever shows up this season, he might have a good tight end. But yeah, I mean, it's not as scary as it looked after the first couple weeks for sure. But I think he's still got a pretty solid team here. But I'm glad he takes the L because we got to knock off these top dogs. So congrats to Chewy on a big win here because Chewy's been struggling this season. I think he's now coming off back-to-back wins.
Yep, he's 2-3.
Yeah, so I mean, good win for Chewy here. I mean, he only had to put up 94 to get it. Got a lot of single digits on this team, but Austin Eckler decided to show up for this game, drops a 33 ball. And, you know, sometimes a good old 33 or a good old 30-plus point player is all you need to get a nice dub or a lucky dub over somebody.
Yeah, and the good thing about Nick, Alvin Kamara seems to be probably the best game he had all year. And he's been struggling – all year. He's only played 3 games. So a good 20 ball from Kamara that Nick desperately needs just to keep going. I mean, both these teams don't look great. Jared Goff at quarterback, I think he's playing Zach Wilson this week. J.K. Dobbins didn't do too great, so that trade is kind of looking okay for me. But, of course, it's only 1 week, so you really can't really base that off of 1 week. But, we'll see. I mean, these two teams don't scare me too much.
Now, I would say that Nick's team scares me a little bit more than Chewy's team for sure. Chewy's team
I agree with that.
Chewy, you know what I told Jeff a few weeks ago? He needed to bring the energy into his team. That's what Chewy needs. Chewy needs some energy into that team.
So whoever plays Chewy this week, will expect a 180 ball on your ass because that's what Jeff did after Ryan said that. So I think he actually plays Lubasi, so that's kind of funny. But we'll go to James and Chris's matchup, and James gets his first win, and it looks the team looked good. Tyler Lockett 2 touchdowns. His quarterback didn't do shit again, but Nick Chubb is doing Nick Chubb things. I think he might be the first, number 1 running back.
Yeah, we check that every week. It's still number 1. It's not changing. He just dropped.
Him and Saquon are always. Yeah,
he just dropped 25. It's not going anywhere anytime soon.
But you see, Jamar Chase still didn't do double digits. This guy, remind you guys, this guy was the 3rd pick of this year's draft, and he had a really good first week, but his last 4 weeks. I mean, I'm just going to say below 10. I know he's 10.1.
I was going to say, consider that 10.1 a single digit, dude. Yeah. That's 4 single digits in a row.
Yeah. So, James got a great 120. But, Damian Harris did well, too. Like I said, I think this is probably one of the best 1-2 punch running back that you'll see. I could maybe come into a close second. Actually, Christian and Saquon are pretty good, too. But, I would think this is a top 3 at least 1-2 punch. So I mean, James has stuff to look forward to. He has to figure out this quarterback spot. Matthew Stafford has not done great. The Rams have not done great. But his other people are looking pretty good. I know he started off really bad, but I think he has time that he can crawl back into this race.
Geno Smith's heating up, dude. Tyler Lockett might be in for another solid year. That was definitely a guy I was not trying to get in the draft. Because of that quarterback and offense situation. But, man, Geno has been slanging the last few games. So I think James's team is definitely trending up right now. He gets off of that 0-4 skid, but I think he's got all the potential here to get a nice little winning streak going. So maybe he climbs the leaderboard. Chris, on the other hand, I feel like he might be trending down a little bit, even though his running back core is popping up. I see a lot of single digits on this team. What do you think over here?
Yeah, I mean, looking at his running backs, Carson Wentz actually did good. This is the first start without Justin Fields. I think it's still on the team, but Justin Fields actually did pretty well too. But I mean, Tyreek Hill's hurt. I think he's gonna play this week, but he's actually had a pretty hot and cold year this year. 14, 36, 4, 29. Yeah, so especially without Tua there, it's going to be tough for those Dolphins wide receiver. We'll probably talk about that with Rudy's team as well, with Jalen Waddle. But yeah, I mean, look at the last four. You got Disley, who hasn't done great or didn't do great. Naeem Hines got concussed that like first or second drive of that game, so that kind of sucks for Chris there. And I think Jonathan Taylor's coming back this week, so he'll have to plug somebody else in there. But yeah, I agree. Kyle Pitts, is his tight end, but he actually hasn't.
I think he might be playing this week, but I don't know if that. And I think Damian Williams is actually coming back this week too, but I think he's still. Cordarrelle's out on IR, so Damian Williams, if he plays this week, I might have a good flex plug in there because you'll notice Antonio Gibson now that B-Rob's back, he didn't really do that well. And Carson was kind of slanging that game, so maybe the game script didn't go towards the run game. But, I mean, something to keep an eye on there, Antonio Gibson. That was a good sit by him. But, unfortunately, Naeem Hines got hurt early. That sucks. But, I don't know, man. Chris's team, his running back core is finally heating up like we all thought it would. But he just needs to get some pieces around it. Like you said, Tyreek Hill not looking great right now. He's hurt, rookie quarterback. And, Amari Cooper, great week by him, but I don't know how consistent that can be.
He's actually been really good.
He had a good week, 2 weeks ago. Oh, I guess he had two in a row a couple weeks ago. But, I knew he had a couple single digits too. So, if he can stay consistent, that's a solid player to have there. But we'll see what happens with Tyreek Hill and the offense without Tua. And if Carson Wentz can keep it up at quarterback, I'd be shocked if that was the case. But I guess we never know. But, I don't know. Chris's team, it looked good early, and we'll see if he can plug in those holes and get it back on track. Because his running back core is lethal, straight lethal.
Yeah, a very good running back core. So we'll go to the best game of the week, actually, and probably the saddest game of the week for Jimmy.
Man, he was so close, dude. He was so close.
So he lost by 10. A little bit over 10, and Patrick Mahomes just literally went nutty that Monday night game in the second half. It looked like Jimmy might pull it out, but Mahomes just decided to do Mahomes things at the end and get that win against the Raiders. But, Jimmy just has had such bad luck. We'll see it in the standings, but he got 180 dropped on him last week, and I think he got like 130? I think he was in the 130s again last week and lost, and then he does the same thing this week. Runs into a 144. I just got a feel for him at this point.
Yeah, that's about as gut-wrenching as the losses get, and to take two of them in a row is just – Jimmy's got to be throwing shit at this point. I'd be sick. And he did all that with 3.8 from Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is one of his highest scorers early in the season. His team is looking good. That Bucs offense, I talked a little bit of shit about those two guys on his team a few weeks ago, but man, they've been paying off, I think, the last couple weeks, but definitely this week. And it's just really unfortunate to see Jimmy take another tough loss to such a high score. But, Johnny's team is looking pretty strong. We talked a little bit of shit about his team, saying it really didn't look like a 5-0 team or a 4-0 team. But, man, he really kind of slapped us in the face with this one this week. 144 is about as good as it gets. And sitting at 5-0 is pretty scary. And I think you got to face him this week, right? What are you thinking about that?
Yeah, I faced him this week. Johnny's already talking shit. He's getting a big head, thinking he's the greatest fantasy football player ever. So hopefully I'll shut him up this week. But, yeah, looking at his team, the running backs are good. David Montgomery's back. Marquise Brown has probably been a top 10 wide receiver, maybe even top 5. He's just been sixth best. I don't think Hopkins come back till, week 6 or 8? Something like that. So it's going to be interesting.
I think he's 7. I think he was suspended for 6 weeks, so he'll be back week 7, I believe.
So I always say that we'll see what happens with that, but I think Hollywood is still going to do pretty good. And Raheem Mostert is a pretty surprising. Chase Edmonds sucks, and I don't know why the Dolphins give him so much money. But Raheem Mostert has always been a really good running back. But he just always gets hurt, right? So when he was on the 49ers, he would have these 2 or 3 breakout games, and people are like, "Oh yeah, this guy's a beast." And then the next game, he just get hurt. I don't know when's the last time he actually played a full season.
I don't think ever. So, honestly, I don't think ever.
Right, and it's hard to be excited for him. And I hope he has a great, healthy season this year. But, I mean, just history's not on your side with him. So we'll see what he does. But, yeah, Devin Singletary, I mean, it was a good start. Raheem Mostert was a good start. The bench is a little iffy, but I mean, he's stayed healthy. But you see other teams kind of like Nick, you especially, that one or two injuries really derail your team. So if he gets one or two injuries, this team could be going from the best to one of the worst in the league. So
I mean, he's got receivers.
Say that about a lot of people.
He's got receivers though, and I mean,
yeah.
We just saw David Montgomery go out. He still got the dub. So. Yeah, I don't know, man. Until further notice, this team is pretty scurry.
Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully I knock them off this week, and hopefully I get them in the first loss column because I really need this win. So we'll go to Jeff and Rudy. And actually, you played Jeff this week, so I guess you can start on talking about Jeff's week, who had a pretty solid week.
Yeah, Jeff, back-to-back good weeks in a row. He's seeing the worst team I got to offer, so I have no doubt that Jeff is going to punch me in the gut this week. But, yeah, he has another great week. Derek, I think this is the second week he started Derek Carr. Oh, no, he had Geno in this week. So he plugs in Derek Carr this week and drops a 17, which is pretty solid. Geno at a 24, though. It could have even been better than that. But his running back core, not looking great. Receivers and flex looking pretty good. I mean, Josh Jacobs, I think maybe one of the bigger surprises of the early season. I think most people were probably avoiding Josh Jacobs as much as they could in drafts. Like, I know I didn't want him. A lot of people were down on him this year, but he's been great. And he's been killing it for Jeff, especially the last couple weeks. Justin Jefferson obviously is great. Jeff definitely has some holes in this team, but I mean, he's looking pretty solid right now. What do you think?
Yeah, Brandon Cooks has had probably the biggest disappointment in this season. He was a 4th, 5th round pick, and a lot of people actually skipped on Brandon Cooks. And I remember saying that in my power rankings and stuff. And I guess people are smart because he has not had a really great year.
I mean, that Texans offense is just no good.
Yeah, I'm glad Jeff got him. I think he was 2 picks before me, so I'm glad he got him because I was going to scoop him up. So thanks, Jeff, on that. But yeah, he's been a disappointment. You get Dak back. I think he still has Dak on the bench, so maybe a little bit more of a consistent quarterback going here. But, I mean, Carr and Geno have done him well. So, yeah, Jeff's team is looking good, but let's see if he can stay a little bit more consistent. I know he had 2 good weeks, but he's also had 2 bad weeks before that. So it's just all about consistency with Jeff's team. He can throw a 70 out at you, or he can throw a 180. You never know.
Yeah. This depends on what week you're going to get him. He does have a lot of single digits here, so we'll see. We'll see if these big scores can keep up. The last couple of weeks, though, those guys have been consistently dropping big scores, so we'll see if that continues to carry Jeff.
Yep, and then we'll go to Rudy's team, who did not look good before Monday night, but with Travis Kelce throwing a 30 ball at you, his team actually looks a lot better than it did. But still, this team just isn't scaring me, at least. The 2 tight ends worked really well this week but Kelce had a Monday night game, so he was pretty much out of this game Sunday after 1 o'clock, at least I thought, but he actually made it closer than I thought. But he gets Kenneth Walker with the news of the other Seahawks, your running back. What's his name?
Rashad Penny.
He's out for the season. So Kenneth Walker is going to lead that back. So that's another running back he can plug in instead of Gainwell or J.D. McKissick. Like, those guys are those are terrible running back core. But
I no longer have room to talk shit about running back cores.
Yeah. So, but he's going to have Jonathan Taylor back. You put Kenneth Walker in that two hole, and this team doesn't look bad. I mean, his wide receivers are bad or not looking great just because Waddle, quarterback situation, and then Mooney. I don't know what his infatuation with Mooney is, but he didn't do too bad.
Dude, this team lives and dies by the tight end. If you just take those 2 tight ends and put them in this wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2, you move the other 2 guys down. This looks like a balanced-ass team once you get those other 2 running backs in there. If he's got these tight ends chugging out scores like this every week, I mean, if he gets, like I said, if he gets those running backs back, like RB1 and 2 in there, I mean, this team looks pretty damn good, like damn near right back to where it was early in the season. And he's got Eno Benjamin down there, and both other Cardinals running backs got hurt last week too. So now he's even got a little bit of depth on the damn bench, and he's got Michael Thomas probably coming back soon too. I mean, this team looks good. As much as I hate to say it.
I gotta completely disagree with you on that one. This team just isn't scary.
So you're telling me when all those
even Jonathan Taylor comes back, he still hasn't been doing anything.
Yeah, that's true, but you got to expect like it's eventually going to get back to normal, right? Like Jonathan Taylor's not going to keep dropping single digits.
I mean, you never know. I mean, that Colts offense is bad.
I don't know, man. I'm seeing this as like his team that definitely has looked rough the last couple of weeks. He's on a 2-game losing skid. But I think when he gets some of those pieces that are on his bench right now and hurt right now plugged back in, it's going to be looking right back to where it was. Remember, this was our highest scoring team for like the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, these wide receivers are just not doing it. I mean,
it doesn't matter. Imagine if those were a tight end and a flex scorer. You look at it and you're like, not great, but I mean, it'll get you somewhere. And if his 2 tight ends are dropping, 20s and 30s, This team is good.
Kelsey has 2 pretty good weeks. Mark Andrews has been kind of up and down. Not too bad. Man, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't know who Rudy has this week, but we'll see how his team plays out. I'm a little low. You're high. And I guess we'll just see. So we'll go to Dom and Ryan's last game of the week that we'll talk about. I'll talk about Dom's team a little bit, and then Ryan will probably quickly go to the standings after this. So Dom had a really good week. I think this team is pretty strong. But you did say that James Conner he didn't even start James Conner. So James Conner is out or going to be out maybe a little bit. Chase Edmonds kind of sucks. But, I mean, look at his starters. You got Derrick Henry, 26. He's actually looked really good the last couple of weeks. Jeff Wilson had a 19 ball. I think this was his probably best game of the year. Yeah, so, I mean, double digits all year that he's starting. So that's pretty good. And then Mike Williams as your flex, who's really good, getting a lot of targets without Keenan Allen. Romeo Doubs was a little weird, but I guess you could put Mike Williams in your wide receiver too, and then your flex could have been like Zeke or somebody. But Romeo Doubs was a kind of a strange play, but he got the dub nonetheless. He didn't have to get too many points to get it. But the tight end situation, I think he's doubled his tight end scores from week 1 to 4 this week, but it's still bad. It's just still not great. Kittle hasn't looked good even with the starting. Like Kittle is like a top 5 tight end coming in this year. He got him from James. It's looking smart that James got rid of him because you could find 5.2s at tight ends off the waiver wire easy. So Dom's still struggling to get this tight end position. I think he's got the tight end position set. It's just now he just needs production. So, but I do like this team. I think this is one of the stronger teams. I think his 0-3 start was a fluke. He's going to start getting, higher scoring games and getting wins. And right now, I lost to Dom last week or 2 weeks ago, so I'm glad I don't play him again for a while. So we'll go to Ryan's team. How you feeling?
I mean, I dish out enough shit throughout all the seasons to be able to look myself in the mirror and say this was just a dog shit performance by my team. It couldn't have been worse. I mean, it literally couldn't have been worse until if you exclude the Devontae Adams game Monday night, literally everything that could have gone wrong just seemed to have gone wrong. I mean, we had Rashad Penny who got hurt. Khalil Herbert touched the ball, I think, 4 times. Chris Godwin, decent week. Gerald Everett was in the game. He played the entire game and he got 1 catch
for 2 yards.
I mean, they were throwing the ball. That was damn near a shootout. High scoring. 1 catch. T. Higgins played 3 snaps, decided he couldn't play anymore. Could have told us that at the beginning of the game. I could have maybe figured something out to flip him out, but nope. He wanted to play 4 snaps, whatever. Then my kicker, my fucking new kicker. I have a new kicker every week. You know what? I've probably totaled 6 points out of that position this entire year. He missed 2 fucking field goals. I think he had missed maybe 1 all year. Missed 2 in 1 game, and I get a 1. And then I leave points on the bench. Pollard dropped a 1 last week, so I benched him. He said, fuck you for benching me, and had like an 80-yard touchdown, whatever it was. And I got Craig Reynolds, the backup to the backup, with 10 points. How was I going to know that was going to happen? Wouldn't. And then, then this week I got all this madness. My running backs look like shit, and I got Davante Adams on a bye. Chalk me up for an L. Congratulations, Jeff. Yeah, my team fucking sucks right now. It's really bad, and I am man enough to admit it. But you know what? We're 2-3. I got to get past this next week's L. DeAndre Swift comes back. No more Davante Adams buys. We're back on track. Got to get healthy. That's where I'll leave it. We got to get healthy.
Yeah, and it's crazy to see like Lamar after really good weeks. He's kind of come back down to life, 20, 42, 39, and then 13, 14. Hopefully he can keep going, at least get you 20 points a game. You expect, I think, I would expect Lamar to get you a good 20 every week. Those 40s weren't sustainable, but 20 is. So we'll see how he does.
Yeah. I thought after the 13 that maybe we were done with the low scores, but now we had to get one last jab in there this week because everyone was dropping low scores. And I'm not going to lie, as a fantasy owner and a manager of this team, I am embarrassed. I'm embarrassed by this. It was a very depressing Sunday.
And we had to look back past weeks just to see if this is the lowest ever. I didn't think it was the lowest ever. I know Davante Adams helped you out a lot, but we did have Matt Burnham score 49.4 last year. So that is the lowest. I didn't even look for 2020. I knew nobody was lower than 49 because that is a very bad score. So this isn't the worst score we've ever seen. Last year we saw it. But this does not bode well for Ryan. With the points for. I know he was like third, I think, last week, and he moves all the way down to 8th after this abysmal performance. Remember, the top 4 rankings get their own little tournament at the end of the year. That's kind of our mini game this year. So this really killed Ryan's. I wouldn't say it killed your shot at this, but this really depleted your shot to get in the 4th spot there. But I'm not really too far behind. But we've had some crazy scores. Excuse me. Some crazy scores. Jeff's team, I mean, when you throw a 180 at it,
hard not to be at the top with that.
Yeah, you're about to be at the top for at least a couple weeks. And then Jimmy, who's 1-4, third highest score, and then Johnny, of course, 5-0, and then Nick 4-1. But Rudy's really close. So we kind of got a race of 5 teams in the top 4. A lot of season left. I wouldn't count yourself out yet, but some really good scores.
I don't feel good. I may put up a lower score this week than I did last week if I'm being honest.
Hopefully it's not below 49.4, but we'll go to points against, and you can see who's leading the pack by 125 points. That is not a typo, and I'm not reading that wrong. This dude from 125 points away from the second guy. God, that is sickening.
Yeah,
for Jimmy.
And then me, you, and James are like really pretty much at the same spot right there.
Yep.
And man, it's been a year already. That's why both of us are 2-3. This is why we're 2-3. We're getting bombs dropped on it. You fucking put a goddamn like 130 on my head.
Yep.
Been a tough year so far, sitting at 2-3 for the Old Town Toads.
But it's not bad. Like 2-3 is not terrible. We'll look at standings. Like, I mean, the 4 guys in the playoffs are the last 2 guys are 3-2. So I mean, we're only 1 game back. And then James and Jimmy only 2 games back. So I mean, Jimmy and James aren't out of it yet. I know 0-4 looked really bad for James last week, but you get that first win under your belt. And now it's just hopefully just goes on a winning streak for his sake and gets in the playoffs.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I think James's team's gonna bounce back a little bit. I think he'll climb up here. I mean, he may be tied with me after this week, so won't have much to say there. But I don't know. Johnny's team's looking strong there at 5-0 up top. Nick's leading his division over there. But Jeff's climbing. Jeff's on a 2-game winning streak now. He's going for that top spot. Who does Nick play this week? Did we already look at that? So I know you play Johnny. And we got nope. Keep going.
Rudy.
Rudy. Oh man, that'll be a good game too. Nick and Rudy. Those are two of the top dogs. Well, Rudy was a top dog in early weeks, but so we got Johnny playing you. We got Rudy playing Nick. Those are big games for the standings. We'll be rooting for a loss on Nick and Johnny's side. So everyone's Team Jacob this week.
Yeah, and Jimmy and James actually play each other 2 1-4 teams. So like to start, I mean, someone's going to be 1-5 and one's going to be 2-4. The 1-5 team. I don't know. I think this is a must-win game for both of them just to keep the confidence up because 1-5, I think 6 losses, I think, is going to be the fourth guy, like the fourth team, 6 or 7 losses. So you don't want to get 5 really quick. So that's going to be actually a big game to watch right here.
Yeah. Yeah, well, someone's walking out of that 1-5.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think that does it for a good week 5 recap. We've got the season shaped up here. We've got some teams that need to turn it around. We've got some teams that want to keep it going. And this is going to be an exciting week for mostly everyone but me. But I'll be back next week with a lot more optimism and ready to get another dub. You got any closing thoughts for us?
Yeah, let's see this matchup. You're projected 88 points.
88 points. I'm not even projected to break 90.
DJ Moore's in your flex. Chris Godwin's questionable. T. Higgins is questionable. Man, you might not even have a wide receiver core.
Yep, starting 2 backup running backs. We got buys and injuries on the bench. It's gonna be a fun week, for me on FanDuel. No, I'm not even gonna watch this game. Jeff, congratulations, you got me. I'll see you next season. We're 1-1 against each other. But yeah, this is probably what I hope is gonna be my worst week of the season. But yeah, my team is in shambles right now. We're embarrassed. We're sad. And let's just get to week 7. That's what we're eyes on week 7.
I agree with that. So yeah, let's see what happens. This is a big week. A lot of not must wins, but a lot of people who are eyeing wins don't want to lose, of course. Hopefully Johnny and Nick fall, and we can all get closer to that top spot in our divisions.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. Well, that'll do it for this week. We'll catch you guys again next week for the week 6 recap. Good luck to everybody in week 6.
Peace.
Week 5. Week 6?
Week 6.
Week 6. All right.